Euromaxx highlights. Coming up on the show, Open Air. Conductor Justus Franz hosts concerts at his home on the Canary Islands. Murder, She Wrote. German author Ingrid Noll visits Europe's biggest crime novel festival. Natural design. German architect Daniel Sauter builds houses entirely from wood. Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Robin Merrill.
And a very warm welcome to the show. This city, Berlin, has become a veritable magnet for artists in recent years. It's become very cool to have a studio here. But the painter Elvira Bach has been here since the 1980s. If you don't know her name, you may recognise her wild brushstroke paintings of women, as they're very popular and now sell for five-figure sums. She talked to us about life as an artist and mother, and even created a new painting as we interviewed her.
A strong woman with strong shoulders. Much of Elvira Bach ends up on her own canvases.
My paintings of women attracted attention because of how I portray the female figure from my point of view as a woman. I really emphasize her womanhood.
At the beginning of the 1980s, Elvira Bach founded a new style of art called Junge Wilde, or Wild Youth.
Back then, there were no galleries, so people just put on their own shows. We rented out rooms. The openings were just big old parties.
The Wild Youth artists experimented with color and form in Berlin's Kreuzberg neighborhood. Bach's studio was located between Squats and legendary punk club SO36.
Every evening, a different band would play.
It was at the Documenta in 1982 that Bach first received international acclaim. Exhibitions around the world quickly followed, including one at New York's Guggenheim Museum.
Of course, that was an affirmation for me, and when you get affirmation, you can work better.
Despite her global success, Elvira Bach has stayed true to her Kreuzberg roots. She moved into a 500 square meter studio here in 2000. And it was in 1983 that she first met her Senegalese husband. Africa soon provided new inspiration for her work. Bach had two sons. Finding the balance between work and family life proved a big challenge.
I stopped going to the movies, to the theater. I always stayed at home. For years, I painted this new world, this world that I found myself in.
She spent most of her evenings in the kitchen. The emancipated metropolitan woman washing up and peeling potatoes. Bach's kitchen divas are sensuous women who need to unify the domains of career and family, just like the artist herself. And Elvira Bach is proud that she managed it. And nowadays, her son Lamine works alongside the painter. But she still needs to spend most of the day alone. Otherwise, she can't work.
I just go into my studio and lock the door behind me. I can only do what I really want to do when I'm not disturbed. My female motif has grown and moved with me through the world. She's a bit older now and maybe a bit fatter. I've never had a fixed idea about her ultimate destination. Who am I to say what will happen tomorrow?
Ich kann es nicht sagen, ja, weil was ist morgen? Keine Ahnung.
Fascinating woman. The German pianist and conductor Justus Franz is a great believer in music crossing national barriers. That's why he created the Philharmonia of Nations for young talented musicians back in 1995. Now they're a regular feature playing at the festival he holds on his finca on the island of Gran Canaria every October.
Tuning up under the palm trees. The Philharmonia of the Nations is to play in just a few hours, under the leadership of German conductor Justus Franz.
Okay, alle bitte.
The musicians are between 25 and 35 years old. Most are from southeastern Europe. They play every night during the 10-day Finca Festival. The surroundings add an extra note to the repertoire.
I believe that beautiful natural surroundings inspire musicians. Beethoven found his themes in the forests around Vienna, and other composers report the same thing. Nature inspires and relaxes us. A concrete wall is not inspirational.
Inspiration among the cacti. Franz's finca is located in the mountains of Gran Canaria. It's a place his friends love to visit, and a place which gives him the peace he needs to prepare his concerts.
We have to show we are concerned with our art, to show we are serious about it. In an open-air setting, that means playing the notes longer. We can't play dryly like we do in a concert hall where we're supported by an echo. Here you hear everything, and you have to express each sound clearly.
Catalin de Saga is working on his expressiveness. Justus Franz brought the 32-year-old violinist from Romania.
Beautiful.
A few hundred meters away, a taste of something other than music. Chef Christian Hoymade is preparing the finca chicken. The bird, like most of the other ingredients, hails from the farm on the 15-hectare property. The musicians rehearse in the open air. Pianist Masha Korf comes from Ukraine. She's the second soloist of the evening. The program includes Mendelssohn's Concerto for violin, piano, and string orchestra in D minor.
For me personally, it's a connection of the most beautiful three things: beautiful nature, gorgeous music, and friendship, which excites all of us, and we are very inspired.
And for me, the challenge is that the difference between playing in the hall and playing outside is very big, also like acoustic, like sound, like everything, and we are both very excited.
Our concert starts in 30 minutes.
Justus Franz conducts in formal clothing, but the audience is casually dressed. And the nights are cold in the mountains. The festival successfully bridges the gap between performers and audience.
We're thrilled. It's a great atmosphere and it's delightful to be here.
You made a great job. We enjoyed it very much. It was very impressive for us.
The evening winds down with finca chicken and other specialties. The Justus Franz Finca Festival is a treat for all the senses.
Yeah, that looks like my kind of festival. One of Germany's best-known crime writers is Ingrid Noll. This week she's been reading from her latest novel at Europe's biggest festival of crime writing, which was being held in 25 different towns in the state of North Rhine-Westphalia in Western Germany. Her books are translated into 20 languages, and a few have been filmed too.
When Germany's leading crime authors come together, one name is always at the top of the guest list: Ingrid Noll, whose page-turning murder novels have had a devoted following for 2 decades. Her latest book is called The Cuckoo's Child.
It isn't a murder novel or even a crime novel in the traditional sense, but it involves a chain of disasters that lead to the death of 2 people. It isn't about a planned, premeditated murder, rather events just turn out in a particular way.
The Cuckoo's Child is the story of a teacher looking for wedded bliss, but her husband cheats on her, and one of her colleagues suddenly becomes pregnant. Suspicious, she begins to investigate who the father is, and the drama begins to unfold.
In this case, the protagonist puts the blame on herself, although she could never have expected or wanted the consequences that her actions bring. But I think it's the result of something we've probably all done, and that's saying too much and then regretting it afterwards.
Ingrid Noll published her first novel at the age of 55. Hell Hath No Fury was a bestseller in 1991 and was later turned into a film. Hell Hath No Fury is the story of Rosa Marie Herte. She falls in love with a man who doesn't love her. To make matters worse, he has no shortage of admirers, and Rosa Marie begins to eliminate them in a series of gruesome murders. Ingrid Noll was a housewife before she started writing. She lives with her husband in Weinheim in Western Germany and has 3 grown-up children. She says the ideas for her novels came while she was doing housework. At first, she kept her sinister plot secret, writing when the children were out. Her first novel was finished in just 3 weeks. Since then, she's written 8 more. The 73-year-old says she draws inspiration from her home life and her many journeys. She already has a rough outline of her next plot and gives us a brief insight.
I want it to involve 3 generations, a grandfather plus his offspring and their offspring as well, so from young to middle-aged to old.
Whatever the story, suspense is guaranteed. But Ingrid Noll's fans will have to be patient. The novel won't be out for another 2 years.
Now, in most industrialised countries, about half the workforce are in offices of some sort. Here in Germany, for instance, that's 18 million people. The latest ideas in office planning and design were on show at a fair in Cologne recently, and the firm Hellman won the award there for Best Office 2008. A visit to their headquarters in northern Germany will show you why they won.
An afternoon in front of a cozy fire, relaxing in Anna Jacobsen designer furniture, and perhaps sipping a latte? Well, that's just like any day in the office at Hellman Logistics. It's an office design concept that the boss himself was involved in implementing.
I think we're quite far ahead of the pack. Our people work in an environment that promotes creativity. Most of all, our employees are more productive because they're more relaxed.
Hellman's company boasts some of the most modern office space in Germany. And it provides a taste of what the workplace of the future will look like. Open, light, and yet cozy at the same time. Interior designer Christian Kolder was responsible for the final look.
The thinking behind it all was to be more open from the employee's point of view. We could be more daring and experimental. We did away with the old structures.
Hellman's 160 employees have no fixed desk to work at. Every day they choose a new station in the sleekly designed rooms. Workers here can enjoy a silent zone where no mobile phones are allowed, or feel the benefits of feng shui. And all in all, it gets the thumbs up.
It almost feels like you're still at home.
I think it's nice for some to relax and have a second cup of coffee. It's not a problem.
And neither does the Orgatech Trade Fair in Cologne. Hellmann Worldwide Logistics landed the award for Best Office 2008 and was lauded as an example for how modern office space should look. Here in Hamburg, trend research company Trendbüro has been investigating what direction office design will take in the future. Researcher Birgit Gebhardt explains that the workplace of tomorrow will become more and more open.
I think the notion of creating various ambiances through design elements is very future-oriented. And what we've discovered from the office furniture sector is that there's a move away from purely functional furniture. People should be able to move around more. Technology is moving with us too, so a fixed workplace is no longer necessary.
Back at Hellmann's headquarters in Osnabrück, technology, open communication, and movable workstations present a picture of the future today. It's all about giving the workers the physical surroundings to ignite their imaginations.
I think we're trendsetters in the way we've moved beyond the traditional office. It's not just a hint of the future. Here, the future is right now.
But even if workplaces become more cozy, going home afterward will remain, for many, the best part of the day.
German architect Daniel Sauter lives in a house made completely out of wood and specialises in building them for other people too. They cost about the same as a conventional home but look more spectacular, and of course they're environmentally friendly when it comes to raw material. There's nearly 10 billion trees here in Germany, so there's plenty to spare.
Trees, wood and nature, my passions.
A carpenter by trade, Daniel Sauter is now one of the leading architects for wooden buildings.
This is a typical example of the kind of houses we build.
Timber makes up 90% of each house. Sauter has built 100 wooden homes in Germany, Austria and Switzerland. None of them has a cellar. All of them have a flat roof. His designs have won him critical acclaim and many awards. Sauter says his secret lies in getting the full potential out of the wood.
In terms of construction, it has the huge advantage that it's always dry, quick to work with, and it's fast and easy to install. It all adds up to quicker construction.
Not every type of wood is suitable. Sauter knows that from his 20 years' experience of wooden construction. He says he always tries to source wood from forests located near the construction site.
This is larch wood, which is tough, durable, and waterproof. We use it a lot for facades, but only where the humidity is very low. Down here we have silver fir, which grows in cooler climates. So it's more suited to areas where the humidity is higher. Both these types of wood grow in Central Europe, right on our doorstep, so they don't have to be imported from the tropics.
Sauter lives in one of his own wooden constructions in Lindau, southern Germany. His ecological architecture has given a new lease of life to an ancient building material. But he says there's still a stigma attached to building with wood.
I think it's simply because there's a widely held opinion that wood rots. But that's just not true. Here in the Alps, there are plenty of examples to the contrary. Some of the houses here are 200, 300, even 400 years old. If you use the wood properly, the building will really last that long.
But even though people don't plan their house building projects over such an expanse of time, Sauter tries to embed his houses in their surroundings, like here in the Alps near the German-Austrian border.
What a view! There are 40 to 50 trees in this house. It took us 3 months to build it. And it was all made from good old German timber.
A material there's no shortage of, and from a sustainable, renewable source to boot.
It's all about sustainability and respect for the materials. Trees like these have a certain lifespan, but they live on after they've been chopped down and processed. They continue to live as they would in the forest.
Much like Daniel Sauter's homes, a living testament to what's possible with wood.
Don't forget that you can see any part of this program again, if you want, on the internet, on YouTube. But that's all for now. Bye-bye.